Good afternoon, how are we all? Good? Yeah, well, thank you. So my name is Travis, and I'm here today representing the Graduate Career Readiness team, and I work as a career readiness consultant at the university. And in this session, we're going to talk briefly about a tool that we offer called CareerHub, but also about career readiness in general and why it's really important to start getting career ready from the very start of your degree. Is everyone just commencing their degree with Flinders? Yes. Just starting? Yeah, okay. So it's really important to think of careers and career preparation as something we want to be doing throughout our degree, not just at the end, all right? You want to be prepared when you leave your degree, ready to go into the world of work. And some of that is about career preparedness. We offer a tool that's available to all of you as students at the university called CareerHub. So it's a one-stop shop, 24/7 access to resources via this link here, and I'll show you some more in just a minute. I'll just first also acknowledge the Kaurna people, the traditional owners of the lands and waters where the city of Adelaide has been built. Who's been here at the city campus more than once, more than today? Yeah. So you may have noticed there's different colours across the various floors. If you didn't, when you go up and down the building, have a look at the various floors and you'll notice there are different colours, and they're to represent the ochres and the gums of the outback. So a lot of what we do at Flinders is really closely connected with those who were here before us as we move forward in reconciliation, and constantly recognising and acknowledging the Indigenous Australian peoples and their culture, and how important it is to us in our country here. I might skip this video here. Have you guys seen this welcome video? You may have seen it already in some of the orientation material, so I won't play it today. I also have some info at the start of our session here about orientation and student support. Have you guys seen this video in any of the sessions that you've been in? Some yes, some no. Get a grab of these QR codes and you can have a look at these. They're available on the website. The top one is to a site where there's a lot of orientation videos, so there might be additional content that you don't get a handle on today or through this week that might be useful. But the bottom one is really important as well, so the Student Support Services Directory. And in a way, our team, the Graduate Career Readiness team and careers at Flinders fall in that category as well. So things like FUSA, which run the clubs and societies, health counselling and disability services at the campus, Oasis, who offer religious and cultural support. If you're not familiar with any of these organisations, I definitely recommend having a look at that directory and reaching out through the week for more information. Hey guys, come in. Welcome guys, come in, take a seat, we're just getting started. So what I'm going to talk about today is CareerHub. So CareerHub is your one-stop shop for career support resources at the university. Now obviously it is only one of the many things that we do support our students at Flinders in career management and career education, but it's a very handy tool. So for those just entering the room, if you haven't already, I recommend taking a grab of this QR code, and it should direct you to this resource called CareerHub. Now, it is a place where you can search for jobs. It's a place where you can get information relevant to your degree and seek out opportunities and start to explore work, develop your documents like your resumes and your cover letters, prepare for interviews. So it offers a huge range of resources to all of our students at Flinders, including events that are running as well and opportunities to network and engage in your industry and your sector. You can find it via your Okta dashboard. Who's been on Okta already? Okay, hopefully we're familiar with Okta. Once you log into Okta, you can get a dashboard where you can pick some certain widgets, and we do have a CareerHub widget on there as well. But you can always just search CareerHub Flinders to get into it. And I recommend using this as a source. Our team do a lot of delivery into curriculum in various topics to support students with their career management as they go through their degree and preparation for the workforce afterwards. But this is a readily available space where we're putting resources up. So when it comes to careers, I just pointed out to those who are in the room at the beginning that career management and getting prepared for work after your degree starts right now. It doesn't start in the end of your degree, in frantically looking at your resume and your cover letter and where you're going to go and where you're going to apply and how you develop your skills. It's really important to work on that throughout the process while you're studying, which can be hard to do because you're busy with focusing on your study and the content that's relevant to your learning area. But it's also a lifelong process. So when it comes to careers within our team and the work that we do, we're looking at helping you build your capacity to work on these 5 things and to continue doing that throughout your life. So it's a skill that you'll develop while you're at uni. You've probably developed somewhat already through your own experiences and your working life. We want you to continue building on that. So we start by assessing ourselves. So self-reflection is really important in knowing who you are, what you want, what your values are when it comes to work, and also purpose, I think, is really important when it comes to work. Exploring the options that are available to you related to your degree here in South Australia, possibly internationally, overseas, where you can transfer those skills. Developing those skills so that you're more employable. Then looking at how you market yourself, so that's things like your resume and your cover letter and being successful in interviews, and then performing in the job and how you maximise on that. So all of those things are part of the career development process that we help support students with here at the uni. I should point out as well, please, if you've got any questions at any point as I'm going through anything, do shout out and happy to answer them at the end as well. So step 1 is that idea of working on yourself, working out who you are and what you bring to the table. So we do a lot of work within topic, delivering within various degrees, but also with students through resume labs and different workshops on trying to unpack who you are as a whole person. Now, when we think of a degree, we think of that gives us the qualification to get a job. So if you're doing an engineering degree, that qualification will allow you to apply for an engineer. It's a registered course, you need that qualification. But the reality is that there's more than that makes up your credibility and your ability to win and succeed in that role. So we want you to think about not only working whilst you study, so getting experience in your industry and sector, but also what else you've done in your life and how you can harness those experiences. And we like to draw that in the reflection upon ourselves. So many of you have probably had part-time casual jobs before. Who's had a whole previous career? Anyone done a whole different thing before they come here to Flinders to study their current degree? No? I was an orderly for a long time, so I worked in the hospitals, moving patients and equipment. That's how I met my wife, and then I came back and did my teaching degree. So totally different career, but relevant when I'm transferring the knowledge and the skills and my abilities between different areas. So we try to draw that out with students and maximise that, as well as the extracurricular stuff as well. Who you are as a person, what makes you tick, how can you connect is really important when we're thinking about careers in the workforce. When it comes to exploring your options, CareerHub is a great tool. So we do have a place on CareerHub where you can explore career-specific websites, and I might load it up at the end and show you an example of that. And that's a great starting point if you haven't used CareerHub, which I'm assuming those of you in the room haven't already. I recommend as a takeaway today is to jump onto CareerHub and find the career-specific resources for your degree and use that as a starting point to just look at what you can start to plan and look into and explore to help you on this journey alongside your studies and get started a little bit earlier. We list jobs and organisations that you might apply for that would be relevant to your degree and your sector. However, I'd always recommend don't limit yourself to those. You can always transfer and use skills across a range of areas. So they're just examples of different organisations. We always encourage students to research organisations, look at their websites, find out their values, their mission, so that you can align yourself with them when you're applying for work. We do show professional associations and groups, which I'll touch on shortly as well. And there's a range of degree-specific resume tips and tricks and tools, as well as for cover letters and things like that. So each course has its own specific resource page as well, or each study area. Now, you can also look at jobs from CareerHub. So when you do log on to CareerHub, you'll find at the top that there is a job search tool. Now, we strongly recommend if you are looking for work, is anybody currently looking for casual work or part-time work whilst they study? Yeah, cool. It's great if that can be, hey mate, hey. It's great if that can be degree related, but it doesn't need to be. Sometimes we just need to do something that's going to get us some skills and get us some money to get by whilst we're going through our degree. But you'll find those sort of opportunities on a CareerHub as well. It's not just graduate opportunities. There are internships and volunteering opportunities that you'll find on there as well. So a lot of these advertisements are shared with us by organisations that we have relationships with, and we promote them to our students to try and encourage students to take up real world opportunities to gain relevant experiences that will translate into the workforce afterwards. You can use a whole range of other search tools, and there's some other recommended up there on the screen as well. When you are searching for work, you'll find when we see you throughout your courses and various iterations, that we encourage casting a wide net too when you think of work and seeing what's out there, because some can be a little bit limited. But if you are looking for work right now, I recommend have a look on CareerHub and see what's out there. You might find something available and we can have a chat too. Here's an example of a job advertisement that you can find through CareerHub. So we do try and highlight all the key information that's going to be relevant to you. So the key responsibilities of the role, how you would contact that employer. Most employers who do advertise and we promote through CareerHub, they have a profile. So you can find out a bit more by clicking on that employer as well. And you can see what the skills are that employers are looking for. Now, this is really relevant for everyone, but those in the room who aren't currently looking for work, I'd recommend that you start looking at job ads and things that are out there for the industry that you're going into sooner rather than later, because you can look at the skills that employers are seeking and start to think about how you can plan to develop those skills through your degree, because you'll have the knowledge and the qualification through your degree, but whilst you're here at Flinders, we strongly encourage and support you in developing skills too, so that you can go out there and you've got experiences you can draw upon to be successful in applying for work. Does that make sense? So when it comes to developing skills, there's a whole range of ways you can do that. That's not just through casual and part-time work, although I highly recommend it because it pays and money is important in the cost of living crisis we're in now, and many of you may be renting and have various pressures on with family and circumstances as well. But some other things that you might choose to do is to join some of our student associations at Flinders. Has anybody yet heard much about FUSA? Yeah? No? Yeah? So FUSA are our student association, and they manage a lot of the clubs that are run by students. So there is funding available for students to run and manage clubs of interests. It could be sports, it could be hobbies, all sorts of different things. And this is a great way that you can connect with other students and take on roles and responsibilities that can develop your experiences, but also help you connect in your industry or sector, or just make friends as well. So these are some things we suggest. Make the most of placements. Depending on your degree, there may be a placement attached. So with engineering, you'll have a placement. Anybody else in the room? Nursing, social work, education. Yep. So a number of our degrees do have placements built in. That's part of the registration process for those degrees. So we always recommend students make the most of those opportunities. Many topics at Flinders now might have work integrated learning opportunities. If you hear those terms when you're picking your topics per semester, I strongly say yes, do the work integrated learning topics, because they give you opportunities to spend time in industry applying your skills working on projects. All right. All of this stuff is how you learn to apply your knowledge and experience, which will help you get into the workforce afterwards. Volunteering is a great way to develop skills as well. In some sectors, it can be harder to get casual or part-time work, particularly in the physical sciences. So volunteering is a great example there. You can be a student rep or a mentor in your course. Professional associations you could join as well. Many of them have student memberships, which are free, if not really cheap. So if, for example, you were doing computer science, the Australian Computer Science Society, ACS, you could look at applying for their student professional network, and that would give you access to mentoring, to networking sessions, to all sorts of really cool stuff that will help you build connections for the workforce afterwards. It's good to follow news in your sector and build out a diverse range of experiences that you can draw upon. That being said, don't ever forget all the things you've done prior to being here today. That's all relevant as well, and we can learn to articulate that when we apply for work. So when it comes to volunteering, here's some examples up here on the screen. Now, volunteering can be regular, so you could volunteer once a week with an organisation, for example, and give up 8 hours of your time. If you have that time, that may be a really valuable use of it, but not everybody does. So sometimes volunteering could be more sporadic. It could be a one-off experience in your local community or with an organisation that you're interested in or that aligns with your degree. It could be online, so there are virtual volunteering opportunities available as well, some of which you'll find on CareerHub, and through a bit of search on the internet, and AI can be useful sometimes in finding these opportunities. Just make sure that they're credible, I'd always advise. But personally, I would always take the in-person approach if you can, but it depends on your sector and what time you have available. This one up on the screen on the right there is just an example of a current volunteering opportunity that's available via CareerHub. You'll see that it's a youth career coach. Now, some of you may be studying degrees that don't have a direct connection to working with youth, so you may not be thinking of being a social worker or a disability support worker or a teacher, but it can be really valuable to look at opportunities that stretch your limits and expose you to working with different groups of people, because that can be really valuable later on when it goes into the workforce. We do strongly encourage working while you study as well. So as I've mentioned, the degree is only one piece of the puzzle when it comes to winning work and staying employable post-degree. Here's some examples of some current opportunities available. A few of these are up on CareerHub, and some of them I've linked from CareerHub into the information from that organisation, which is really important to do when you're exploring work. The one in the bottom middle there is actually, we've got a census coming up, so where we get a whole heap of population data, and that's an interesting opportunity that is available and may be useful for people across different degrees as well. So all experience counts, and we encourage you to get some experience along the way. The student who just does their degree and doesn't develop any experience along the way may get good grades, but ultimately they're going to be disadvantaged when it comes to competing in the workforce afterwards. Vacation work and internships is another strategy you can look at in seeking experience whilst you're at uni. A lot of programs, so this I've noticed a lot more prolific in the business and government sector, in science and engineering, where over the summer you can do an internship, which is not often paid, but you think of the time that you're giving up as worthwhile for the experience that you gain, working within a company, getting knowledge and experience working on projects and the relationships that come with that. In some cases they may be paid, but in others they may not. Depends on the organisation and what's available. So here in South Australia, there's some big ones with big companies that work all across Australia. There are virtual ones available as well. And you could even travel interstate or even overseas through your degree and what's available for an internship as well whilst you're here with us at Flinders. And we strongly recommend them as well. Here's just some examples of the professional organisations you could join as a student. And to kick things off, in developing your experience while you're here at Flinders, this could be something that you take away and even look at today. What professional organisations in Australia would be relevant to you and your degree, and how could you join them? If they've got a free student membership, you could join that today. That's something you could instantly update on your resume, and that could open you up to professional development opportunities and networking for the next 1, 2, 3, 4 years through your degree that's going to help put you ahead of your peers. So this is something we'd strongly recommend. A lot of people will continue these when they go on to be a professional afterwards, but there's fees associated. But definitely take advantage now while you're a student of these opportunities. And then step 4 for getting job ready that we help students with here at Flinders in our careers team is preparing for market. So who has had a job interview in the last year? Anybody? Yeah? Was it scary? Yeah? No? Did it go well? Got the job? Yeah? Excellent? Yeah? No? No. Yourself? Yeah? Yeah, so it's a hard process, right? I recently applied for this role, so I've been in a secondment, so I've taken over this role short term and I've won it to the end of the year, and I'm really happy to be working this role. I've worked at the uni for a while, but for me, having a lot of experience in interviews and worked at the uni for a long time is still a very daunting process. So we do offer a lot of support in students in how you go about those practical skills of writing a resume, doing a cover letter, and applying for work, and how you can tackle that situation, because it's nerve-wracking for all of us. And the reality is that these things are skills and we have to develop them. If we don't spend time working on them, we don't get better, so we've got to work on them. We all think of that one person who just gets it and gets everything straight away, but what we probably don't realise is they've actually spent a lot of time preparing and practicing on these skills. So on CareerHub, I'll do a quick showcase when I get through the content, and I'll just show you where you'll find this. But there's a whole range of tools that you can self-explore in how you can develop your capacity in this space. We do offer labs and various things that I'll show at the end as well. So there's resume tools with templates. If you don't have a current up-to-date resume, I recommend looking at the templates there and using them as an example to start building out a resume. And that might be something you do sooner rather than later, so you can apply for work and build up your degree-related experience. Cover letter tools, selection criteria. There's an interview toolkit there as well. We do interview events as well where you can get in-person practice and experience too, and we do some interview practice in a number of topics across degrees, and the course-specific resources. This one here, Big Interview, is an online resource where you can practice interviews with virtual interviewers of various levels of challenge, like an easy to a hard interviewer, and that's something that's readily available to our students as well that you can use to just practice your interview skills. AI can be really useful, but we limit or be careful with the use of AI, and we offer advice on that too when it comes to preparing for this work. Okay. So regardless of where you are and what you're thinking when it comes to career, we have a bit of something for everybody at Flinders, and it's our job to support students across the degree. There's kind of 2.5 of us actively career readiness consultants for the whole of the university, so we can't offer one-to-one support with every student at every point in time. So that's why CareerHub is this one-stop resource that we strongly recommend you get your head around and access and look at the resources that are available there. But we do offer in-person support as well. We do promote all of these various things up on the screen, but we do run in-person events and workshops also, and they will be advertised on CareerHub in the events section, and I'll go through a few of those in a minute, but we definitely recommend seeking out our support as you need throughout the degree because we're here for you. If you are somebody who struggles with a disability, chronic illness, or you need a little bit of help, we do have a member of our team who works, or 2 members of our team who really work really closely in offering additional support to students as well. If you or somebody you know falls in this sort of situation, please recommend that they get in touch with the USEP team and we can get a bit more bespoke support for them too. Anybody in the room studying social work, education, nursing, anything to do with health or community? If you are, I strongly recommend signing up for this event here. So we are running a Health and Communities Careers Festival on Thursday the 6th of August. It'll be down in the hub. And we'll have over 30 different providers from across those sectors who will be there just having stalls, but allowing students to actively engage with them, hear about opportunities, talk about industry, and start to make connections for career readiness. So this is just one example of the many things that we do that are very student-friendly and open. We encourage you to register, but you can drop by and see it on the day. If you are in a sector that isn't related to health and community services, don't be afraid to come down and have a chat. If you're doing something like computer science or IT, there might be really valuable opportunities to see how you could work into those sectors with your skills, because we need people from all different areas working across, particularly in health, which is a huge growing field and community here in South Australia and Australia. We are holding an education one in September, supporting the college as well for our education student. You can get a LinkedIn headshot through our events as well. So if you look on the events page, or if you are just this is of interest to you straight away, sign up for this one here and you can come out, and we have professional photographers that will do nice professional photos that you can use for your LinkedIn profile as well, is something that we offer as part of the team. We offer Interview Express. This is where we have different professionals will do interview practice. So our students come in and they'll get the opportunity to practice an interview with a recruiter from a different organisation, including our team as well. And we do some of this in topic with various degrees too, in partnership with our academics to support our students in their career readiness. So this is one example of that one there. Resume Labs is another one. Now, we often get resume queries from students who want support with their resume. As you can imagine, that can be a bit timely. So we don't necessarily have the time to do individual resume support with every particular student. So we do like to deliver into topic and give broad advice to students, and then include that on CareerHub and in videos and various tools. But our Resume Labs is a great chance where you can get that one-to-one support, but in more of a group setting. So I did one of those a couple of months ago in this room here with about 15 students. My colleague and I went through some generalised tips and tricks and offered individual support to students throughout. You bring your resume and it's a practical session. So these can be a good one as you're getting to market, to going for employment related to your degree, but also while you're trying to develop degree related experience, it pays to build on this as we go as well. LinkedIn pop-ups again there. Career crew. You may see at various times throughout the year that we do have career crew, so casual student ambassadors who represent the careers team, and they're available at key times here at the City Campus, at Tonsley and at Bedford Park. Just as a point of call where if you see them, you can come by if you've got a career-related question and they can help point you in the right direction, or they can then refer you on to myself and my colleagues for a consult, so we can give you that more particular tailored advice as well. And you can follow us on Instagram if you would like to. Who's on Insta? I'm not, because I'm a dinosaur. But if you are, Insta apparently is the place to go. And my colleague Tracy does an amazing job in being on the pulse with some great funny videos just to promote the team and what we're up to. So that's everything that I had for you guys to overview CareerHub and what we offer in the career space here at Flinders. We're really excited to support you and work with you in any way that we can. I did mention briefly that you can book a career checkup as well. If you are somebody who really wants to get on top of things and wants a bit of early advice and exploring where you might go with your degree and your career, you can book one with us right now. And there's appointment slots that are available on there too. And they're based on our availability, a few each week, so book in for them. But if you do have any questions, do let me know. Would you like me to quickly show you where the course-specific resources are, just as a quick way to get there? Yeah? Bear with me as it might ask me for my Okta login, which you get sick of putting in, but it's important. Okay, so this is the dashboard of CareerHub for anybody who's logged in already. Just as a really quick tour, the job search hub is here, but you can also just search it from the top, and you can search in different parameters of types of work and what you're looking for. There's some more bespoke advice for students of various circumstances, so there's some more support for international students and our USEP students as well. This links to our wellbeing services at the university. But here in the job search hub, you will find the job tools. So this is the resume, cover letter, all of that sort of thing, and a range of other things, but it is in the job tools, sorry. In this one here is where we have the course-specific resources. Now this may update over the course of the next year or so. We're looking at updating some material, but right now this is a really good spot to work out where there's some information that's relevant to you and your degree. So for example, if I was studying a medical science degree, I'd click on this one here because this is my college, and if I go down, there's a medical science section here, and you'll see that there's some resources available to help me in developing my job application resources there, some links, there are some career pathways, ideas, various opportunities I could take, organisations I could look at, and a range of other things there, including professional networks I may connect with. So as one takeaway today, I recommend jumping on, find your course-specific resources for your degree and have a bit of an explore and see where it takes you, and then please reach out to us from there. Awesome. All right. Thank you, everybody. That's everything. But if anybody has any questions, please do feel free to come over and ask. Thanks.